Mr. Wong Chen, thank you for coming on, for accepting our invitation. So, first question, will you push for or table and vote in favor of the urgent enactment of the Malaysian Climate Emergency Act that was raised by Climate Action Week 2023, September 17?
I've not seen your act, but anything that helps the environment, I'm for it. I mean, climate change is a very important agenda for my office. So, we're definitely supportive of anything that can help to mitigate and help to resolve my climate change issues in Malaysia.
Okay, that's good to know. That's good to know. Question number 2. Will you push for or table and vote in favor to institutionalize the just transition mechanism of the fossil fuel economy towards a low carbon society? Again, by September 17, 2023.
I've not read your act or your particular proposition, but the fossil fuel is obviously a big issue, and is probably the biggest contributor to climate change. If my numbers are correct, it's about 25% of global emissions. So, and Malaysia as a fossil fuel producing nation in gas and also in oil, you need to find a little bit of balance on that issue. But we know by the year 2050 that oil is not sellable anymore and the gas is not sellable. So we have a period of transition for the economic position for Malaysia. So I would push for a gradual reduction in our fossil fuel dependency. So again, I don't mind, show us the actual mechanism that you want, but I'm all for maintaining or at least reducing fossil fuel consumption and production in Malaysia. But we have to balance that with the fiscal requirement of the country.
Of course. But thanks for keeping your mind open to this mechanism. There's, of course, quite a bit involved in such a transition, but yes, we will share that with you. Okay, number 3. Will you push for or table and vote in favor of the Freedom of Information Act so the public can access information related to the environment and the climate and all administrative and governance matters not directly related to national security?
Absolutely, but I'm all for full transparency and accountability of government, especially in fiscal matters, but in environmental matters even more so. But essentially, if you're looking at a climate change solution, you need to look at the freedom of information regarding Petronas, and that's the Petroleum Development Act, is completely lopsided. It needs to be under the purview of Parliament, first and foremost. But again, the national reserves, those are national secrets. So we got to find a balance again on that matter. But the very minimum is that the freedom of information should be available to at least Parliament through the parliamentary select committees. So I would go for a middle ground balance on the issue. But overall, any other environmental data out there, whether it's from DOSM or from coastal data or water level data or even potable water position, all these definitely have to be available to the public, and especially available to the academics as well.
Okay, that's also very good to know. Question 4: will you push for or table and vote in favor of the Citizens' Freedom to Criticize and Question Governance Act on all matters of government, especially related to the protection of the environment, indigenous peoples' rights, biodiversity and wildlife rights, climate and social justice, that will allow the citizens of Malaysia the liberty from prosecution and persecution in defending their rights to rule of law, clean air and water, ecosystem and human rights protection, and all other fundamental liberties?
Absolutely. I belong to ASEAN Parliamentary for Human Rights together with Charles. I've been there for about 9 years. We've been pushing the human rights agenda a lot. We talk about reforms through ombudsman system, but this shouldn't be just limited to climate issues or environmental issues or orang asli issues. It should be for everything under the sky under Malaysia. But again, there are limitations to how much you can protest and do, provided that you do not break the law. Now, if the law is lopsided, we reform the law before you all take action, please. let's try to do this in a systematic manner. Reform the the criminal procedure code, outlaw some of these things first, or at least eliminate them. Then please, we would like to see, you know, proper peaceful protests. We would like to see your demands for, you know, accountability on everything. So completely supportive of human rights, but we have to comply with the law.
Yes, I believe we have the Peaceful Assembly Act, which allows for people to protest peacefully. But anyway, that's not on the question list. Let's move on. Number 5, will you defend and push for measures to ensure the protection of existing forest reserves in your state, in this case, Selangor, and to encourage the same in other states so that forests remain intact as whole functioning ecosystems to ensure continual protection of Malaysia's rich biodiversity, water catchment areas, and our rights to a green environment?
Yes, absolutely. For Selangor, I think we have to be a bit more nuanced in how we handle the forest, because the country, I mean, the state, do not require forest revenues. It has no pressure on timber. I mean, we've got industries, we've got services. So I don't think there's an economic argument to exploit the Malaysian forest or the Selangor forest. So absolutely, there's no reason to touch the whatever remaining natural forest we have in Selangor. But for other states, I think there is an argument, an economic argument, for some of the forests to be converted into forest plantation, into some more sustainable model of forestry. That one I fully agree. But in Selangor, I don't think there's a requirement for it.
That's true. There's no timber industry in Selangor.
No, absolutely not.
However, development, housing, and whatever commercial development is encroaching on that, and there have been a few cases of that. So anyway, again,
I agree with you, Johnson. Absolutely, development should. I mean, there are other ways to make money in Selangor, right? The Selangor government should be look at existing resources and revenues. You should never ever give up whatever little precious natural forest you have for development purposes. Right, so I agree with you on that point. Yeah.
All right, thanks. So number 6, will you push for changes in the law or table in Parliament to bring back local council elections?
Absolutely. I think local council elections is very, very important. But then as a coalition, there are, of course, opposing views from all sides. So, you know, to me, personally, I don't speak on behalf of the party or speak on behalf of PH. I like local government election because I've been dealing with councillors here. And you know, the best councillors are the ones who are elected, and then you can really scold, you know. So the councillors are appointed by parties and NGOs and stuff like that. I don't see how that's going to really work for democracy.
Yes. So the councillors need to be accountable to the people, not to their political masters.
Yeah.
All right, great. So last question. Do you place your voters, constituents, and their needs, rights, and aspirations over that of your political party and your conscience and morality?
I think I would like to think that, you know, when you join a political party, you join them because of the set of beliefs that you believe the party fights for. In the case of Keadilan, which is my party, we fight for social justice. And social justice goals are not neoliberal goals, by the way. Okay, we are definitely for the people. We believe in a model that is similar to the Nordic Taiwanese model, where we look at a social market economic system. So we believe to some extent the free market is important, but we have to regulate carefully. And more importantly, they have to pay the tax, and we have to take that tax to then pay for distribution to the people. So people's concern is our concern. Of course, when you're in a constituency, people have multiple type of people and they have multiple needs and demands. But overall, the main objective is to make sure that the poorest of us are given the leg up first before we help the rich and the middle class. The poor needs to be resolved first, and then gradually that will help the middle class as well. But for the upper class people, there's no requirement for Keadilan to stick their neck out or to push any other thing. Maybe to encourage them to be more competitive. Do not fall into patronage economics, but just be competitive and resilient and be fair to consumers and also to their employees. Yeah.
That's great. That sounds like social justice to me.
Yeah.
Mr. Wong Chen, now you have 3 minutes to, well, tell your voters in Subang why they should vote for you.
Well, this is a bit strange because you're trying to sell yourself. I'm not a typical salesman. But I have produced a report card of the activities I've been doing for the last 5 years, 4-5 years. So please go and read that. It's online available. We have printed some, but we have to be environmentally conscious not to print too much. So please go online, read the stuff. You can see that I serve very diligently in Parliament in many, many crucial select committees on trade, on economy, on finance. I was in the National Recovery Council. I'm the so-called budget fiscal expert. I have to deal with Tengku Zafro on issues of the budget. So many things that we do, but we also do a lot for the community. But we've spent 4 million for 51 schools in my area. Everybody getting the equal share. There's no discrimination in my office. Malay school, Tamil school, Chinese school all get the same 80,000 allocation from us. We have also done a lot of social services for people, welfare, COVID-19. I think we spent about 1.2 million in totality. We spent a lot of money on flood victims. We managed, even though as an opposition, we managed to convince the government to help us to build, flood mitigation funds. That's incredible. Okay, a lot of the UMNO, Barisan Nasional cannot even get it. We got it because we are generally nice people in Parliament. We don't call the government, names. We constructively engage.
Okay. I think your constituents. Whoops, I think we might have lost Mr. Wong, but I'm sure the constituents
I think the ministers in response to these things, they are supportive of us also in our activities that we do here in Subang. Yeah.
Okay, so all right. I think your constituents can see from your track record you've done a lot for Subang, and you've served them well, and you've worked very hard. So I wish you all the best, Mr. Wong Chen, and we'll catch up again.
Thank you. Wish you guys all the best too. Bye.